Well, with spring and summer just around the corner come opportunities for travel and tourism. But many of us don't always think about touring our own backyard. There's a lot to see and do right here in southern Alberta. For instance, did you know that Lethbridge has 200 kilometers of trails in its rugged coulees? Yeah, it's also just over an hour from the Rockies, the Badlands, and a day trip to 4 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So to talk more about all the tourism opportunities of Lethbridge, I am joined today by Erin, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Lethbridge Tourism. Erin, welcome to Bridge City News. So great to have you on.
Thank you, Jeanette. Yes, that is my role here at Tourism Lethbridge.
Okay, so Erin, maybe start off by talking a bit more about these miles and miles of trails in the Lethbridge, not to mention the World Heritage Sites. I, for one, didn't even realize we were that close to so many until I started doing some research. So,
We have so many little hidden gems here in our community. And we hear that again and again from travelers that come that, they're like, oh, we had no idea. Oh, we had no idea. And this is the opportunity for us. We have so much. We just need to get the word out about them. So the river valley and all of the nature and adventure things that we offer, they're a huge draw for everyone in Alberta, everyone in Canada, and even beyond. So things like our trails, the biking network that we have is amazing. You had mentioned the hub for the 4 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And I don't know if everyone is aware, but Alberta has 6 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and 4 of them are within driving distance of Lethbridge. It's
okay,
huge.
so what are they, Erin?
Oh, easy. Head smashed in Buffalo Jump. Amazing if you haven't been. And again, we hear this over and over again, especially from residents that, oh, I think the last time I was there was in the 5th grade when I went with my school class,
Yeah,
right? If you haven't been
totally.
to these places, go because they change over time and they're so unique and so special. The other is Riding on Stone Provincial Park,
Love
just
it.
became a UNESCO World Heritage Site a few years ago.
Amazing. It's gorgeous for anyone who
Yeah.
hasn't been there.
Oh, yeah. And, I will say that they are pretty full all summer long. So if you're a resident and you want to go and explore, do it in those shoulder seasons. You're going to have way less traffic and they are very appreciative of, spreading out kind of that year-round destination. And same Waterton National Park. It is the Peace Park between the United States and Canada. And one of the things that makes Alberta very special and is a big attractor, especially for those international markets, is Dinosaur Provincial Park. And many people, they always think of Drumheller, but the provincial park actually starts down near the Brooks area and then runs all the way up the province. So we get a lot of people exploring, again, because they can get some really good experiences in kind of that less busy atmosphere.
I had no idea. See, I'm learning so much from you. I had no idea that the dinosaurs started that close. I know I'm a huge hiker. I love our coulees. I didn't quite know how much hiking there was or what all there was to do around here. I'm going to have to get out more often. So, Erin, if someone in the area maybe doesn't have a lot of funds, maybe not a huge budget for travel this summer, talk about some of the stuff that they can check out and do on the weekends, maybe closer to home.
Our community is fantastic for this stuff, Jeanette. There are so many amazing organizations that are putting on events that draw in visitors from out of town, but are really designed to keep the residents happy and to welcome them in and to find out about more of these things. Things like dragon boat races, street wheelers, the air shows, all of the arts and cultural events, like over at Southern Alberta Ethnic Association. There is so much to get involved in, and so many that are free and open to the public. Don't get me wrong, there are a few that will charge an entrance or may have kind of layers to them. You can do this for free, but if you want to come to the dinner or see the show, there's a cost for that. But more and more, and especially those events that are supported by the city of Lethbridge through their funding programs, that's a big part of it, is making it so that everyone in our community can get involved and to get out and connect with each other and build that social capacity that makes Lethbridge so special.
And there's a rich Indigenous culture here too, isn't there?
There is, and that is becoming more and more popular. Not only because we see the opportunities and the ability to tell great stories, and our Indigenous partners are the best storytellers that there are. We're actually working with some partners with the Reconciliation Committee here in Lethbridge on an Indigenous filmmaker series to learn more about those stories and have them tell them themselves, which is really exciting. But for the international travelers and for those who come, from around, Canada, and especially those urban people that we get coming in, these are things that they don't quite understand, and we need to tell them about, and we need to educate them because it is so important to everything we do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lethbridge is positioned well for that transportation corridors around us. So, are there some events or factors that we can attribute to draw to Lethbridge? I know that we have a wide reach when it comes to tourists from other provinces and even the states.
Yeah. Our location is ideal, right? And even with our partners at Travel Alberta and even with Destination Canada, right? Being located where we are, we're the first stop when many travelers from the South come into Canada, right? So we get a lot of those people looking for the Alaska Highway that are on their way up. And this gives us the opportunity to welcome them here, find out a little bit about them, and encourage them to spend more money here in our region before they head on to someplace else, but to also kind of point out some of those other unique areas where they could be. So we are definitely a big player in that ecosystem of looking at those high value US travelers.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, you mentioned it. Every dollar does count, of course. So, can you share with us the importance of tourism to our local economy?
Gosh, this is a good conversation to have, and it's one that we have been trying to have more and more. We were up at the Tourism Industry Association of Alberta's Advocacy Summit last month, and it was reiterated over and over again about how important tourism is to municipalities and communities. We are a sector of multiple industries. Tourism touches a little bit of everything. We work in agriculture, we work in supply chain, we work in alternative energy. There's always a tourism component to it. And this is one of the things that we have been doing more and more here at Tourism Lethbridge is tracking that economic impact.
Oh, good. Would you maybe have
Yeah,
some numbers or figures for the impact that tourism has on like city businesses each year, for example?
yeah. So again, we're just getting started with this information. The estimated economic impact numbers of events in our community, which is over 57 million. And that is a huge number. And again, we can attribute some of that to major events that we held in 2022, like the Tim Hortons Brier and the Alberta Treaty Hockey Provincials, right? Those came on at a time when our tourism businesses needed it most. They had been decimated by the global pandemic. And all through 2020 and 2021, those businesses struggled. So it was really nice to see this emergence of tourism once again in 2022. And while we saw some really good numbers, we know that we still have a long way to go and that a lot of those businesses are still recovering and still need our help. So that's exactly what we're doing. How do we let the world know about the opportunities here in Lethbridge and bring in more visitors?
Yeah, 100%. So, how would you recommend that small businesses in our city tap into that tourism opportunity?
The best thing to do is to get in touch. We have been doing a lot of advertising lately about, fantastic organizations that are hosting these events. We highlighted the curling club locally because it's their work that actually brought in the Tim Hortons Brier. we didn't do it. The city of Lethbridge didn't do it. It took a local organizing committee, passion and time and dedication that actually brought that in and made it the success that it was. And we need more in our community to think about doing that. If you sit on a provincial board or a national board, could we host your conference here? Are you involved in a sporting organization? Could we look at hosting a provincial or a national tournament here? And we're here to help, right? We need you, we need the community to step forward and plant those ideas, but we're here to help. And so let's do it together. Reach out, connect with us. We'd love to make it happen.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned conferences there, and for sure that's a big thing. What we didn't mention was trade shows. So, what's the expectation that the new trade center could bring to the area?
We have a real opportunity with the opening of the Agri-Food Hub and Trade Center. You know, we bring in a lot of people from Alberta, and actually Alberta was one of the best for having people move around and explore within their own province during the pandemic. But what the Agri Food Hub and Trade Center allows us to do is to really open up to national and international markets that we never had access to before, right? We couldn't go and we couldn't talk, even have conversations with people because they were looking at, thousands, hosting thousands of people. Now we can, and we have the real opportunity to, especially connect with those agricultural events that happen so often. And a lot of it, we're attending and we're talking about how great Lethbridge is. Now we get to open the door and we get to invite those people here to our community and to our region to find out exactly how spectacular we are and what are all of the opportunities, right? Is that opening your own business? Is that maybe coming here now that you've been as a visitor, you want to come back because you see the job opportunities and you think it's a great community and offers the quality of life you're looking for. So these are the opportunities that tourism opens the door for.
Wow. Okay. And so we were talking about the Agri Food Hub, which is, of course, Lethbridge and District exhibition now, I think. Can you talk a bit about the impact that the Ag and Seed Expos have on our city? And what about my favorite, of course, is Home and Garden Show? We didn't get to have it this year. Did you feel its absence?
But we always feel the absence. And, I think these are things that we're working on is, how do we maintain events? How do we maximize events and again, bring the community in more or, bring more people to town? So, we always look at that. And, there are so many fantastic industries here in Lethbridge. Agriculture does play a big part in that. It's 20% of our GDP, and that's just primary agriculture. Everything kind of layers on top of that. So looking at those opportunities like alternative energy, that's a perfect tie-in to the agriculture. And another thing that really makes Lethbridge stand out as special because not many communities or destinations can offer the things that we offer. So again, we have real opportunities.
Yeah. I think we're sitting, what, smack dab in the middle of Canada's premier food corridor, too.
Yes, that's a huge opportunity, right? We continually talk about Canada's premier food corridor and what happens in this region that doesn't necessarily happen anywhere else in Canada. So this is our unique selling proposition that we can go out and we can maximize.
Yeah, 100%. So looking forward to the summer season here in 2023. What's the biggest draw? I know Whoop Up Days, of course, is huge, the end of August. What else is happening this summer?
Yeah, well, again, we have a great lineup. The Dragon boats are, getting ready to hit the ground running in July. We always have Pride Weekend, which brings in tons of people from around Alberta and the region, and even into BC and Saskatchewan, which is really nice. And that's what we want to do. So if you're holding an event, reach out. Let's figure out how we can maximize it, how we can, promote it into other markets to bring some more visitors into our community.
Erin, thanks so much for being with us today. We all look forward to a great summer of short road trips in southern Alberta and touring around Lethbridge.
Yeah, thank you, Jeanette. It was a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Erin Crane is the Chief Executive Officer of Lethbridge Tourism. I'm Jeanette Roche on behalf of all of us here at Bridge City News. Thanks so much for watching.